Welcome back, y'all. To Crib Baby ENT News, y'all. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I really don't like getting into politics, but we finna get into it because it's something major that's going on. You see what I'm saying? Make sure to go ahead and watch this video all the way through. Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. So, y'all, we already know about Trump and this Iran stuff and these bombs and stuff. So we finna see what's going on. Let's get it.
Resorted to more diplomacy via his social media site. He posted, Israel, do not drop those bombs. If you do, it is a major violation. Bring your pilots home now.
I hate to say it, but bro, like you can't really go around, bullying people and then think people gonna really listen to you. I just want to throw that out there.
30 minutes later, he posted this, quote, Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran, whatever a plane wave is. Trump also lashed out, rhetorically, should we say, from the South Lawn. Little warning
I seen this, bro. I seen he started cursing and stuff. Like he went crazy because I guess they ain't listen to him.
for those of you with kiddos at home. His comments are profanity laced.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
That nigga going in, bro. He going in, bro. What the hell, bro? Trump, calm down. This is my first time I actually ever see him actually like hard, like actually curse, hard word curse, y'all. You see what I'm saying? That's wild. But my question is like he intervened in that, but he didn't intervene in the Ukraine and he didn't intervene in the Ukraine and Russia war. You see what I'm saying? Y'all let me know. Drop a comment if y'all seeing this. Let me know what y'all think. But I just want to know why he didn't intervene in that war, but he intervened in this war. And I think I could be wrong, but I thought that we had a treaty with Ukraine.
We can stop here for a sec to reflect on that and on where we are. It's difficult to imagine any previous president talking like that publicly with so much on the line and with so many different sides watching every word and every bit of body language from the American political
She's not
policymakers.
lying. They're not lying. She is not lying. I'm not gonna even cap.
Matters of war and peace, the lives of human beings in at least 3 countries on the line. But this is Donald Trump, who at every step of the way prioritizes optics and his own gut reactions over deliberate policy agendas. Donald Trump, who, according to some pretty comprehensive reporting since the strike in the New York Times, was so impressed.
Bruh, that's wild, bruh. That's wild. This is crazy.
By the
I wouldn't think, bro, that we'll be going to war. I ain't think,
success of the Israeli operation, that he wanted in on the action. So now Trump is claiming that American and Israeli airstrikes have completely destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities. He used the word obliterated Saturday night. And then this morning, he lashed out at the media again when pressed about reports that Iran's nuclear program was indeed damaged, but not destroyed. Here's what we know right now. This is breaking just now in the New York Times, citing officials familiar with the findings. The New York Times is reporting this, quote, a preliminary classified U.S. report says the American bombing of Iran's nuclear sites sealed off the entrances to 2 of the facilities, but did not collapse their underground buildings.
and we all know, like, Iran is good at that underground stuff. They do a lot of stuff in the desert underground. We know that. That's one thing we do know. I think they had caught Osama bin Laden in a cave or something underground. Something like that, y'all. As I said, I don't really get into politics, y'all. This is what's trending, y'all, and I kind of want to know what's going on and how everything is headed. So that's the only reason why I'm actually doing this. But this probably be like my last like video on like news. But uh, they do a lot of stuff underground. Them people are some There's some moles. They're moles. They're underground moles. They are good at building stuff underground.
The early findings conclude that the strikes over the weekend set back Iran's nuclear program by only a few months. Donald Trump injecting spin and chaos into what is already a volatile situation in the Middle East is where we start again today with some of our favorite reporters and friends. NBC News senior national security correspondent Courtney Kuby is at the Pentagon for us again. Also joining us is New York Times diplomatic correspondent Michael Crowley, and former State Department spokesman Ned Price is here as well. Courtney, take us through what you're reporting at this hour.
Well, we're all still watching to see what happens.
I have a question, bro. Like, didn't he get rid of all the people like in the like army, or I don't know if it's not the army and might be the military, like for DEI or something like that? Or I could be wrong. As I said, all this stuff, y'all could be wrong. I don't really be knowing y'all, but like I do remember something like that happening.
With the ceasefire. At this point, I just spoke with a couple of officials here. There's no indication that there's been any further back and forth between Israel or Iran, and critically, we still have no confirmed reports of any additional attacks or attempts against any bases housing Americans in the Middle East. This is just about 24 hours after we saw Iran fire off a number of missiles, more than a dozen missiles, towards Al Udeid, the air base that houses.
Bro, I did see that video. Like, I think it was in Qatar, Qatar, or something like that, where Iran was actually like sending bombs, and I think like the U.S. have something where they can shoot the bombs out of the sky. Yeah, I didn't see anything hit like they say that it did, but from the video that I seen, I didn't see anything hit, ground or blow anything up on the ground. But I did see them. They were shooting back at the missiles. Whatever type of equipment that is, that's tough. I want one at my house.
Americans in Qatar or Qatar, and
Qatar,
fortunately they were either shot down
Qatar.
or
That's
impacted without doing any real damage or causing
Qatar.
any casualties. So that's the latest from the Pentagon. We're all also watching this news out of the New York Times about this early intelligence assessment. I think the big question right now is whether, it's very obvious that this was a successful strike in that they hit the targets. The military, there's no question that they hit the targets that they were going after. But the big question is, did it actually set the program back? And that is what we're still trying to get an assessment on. This fabulous reporting out of the New York Times, Nicole.
My thing is like, even if they keep doing that, right? Like, it's only gonna be so much you can do until like days specifically, like just say, oh, I just want to target the US, Keep setting them back is not really fixing the problem. Like I low-key feel like, and this is just my opinion, y'all. I feel like we should be like going to Iran, or whenever we do have the chance to Iran, I feel like we need to take all nuclear weapons away from them, so they don't have the chance to threaten us like how they've been doing.
Cool.
So this reporting, Michael Crowley, I'm going to ask you to speak to this. I want to read the bylines on the story. It's Julian Barnes, who covers Intel, Helene Cooper, who is Courtney's colleague, covers the Pentagon, Eric Schmidt, who also covers the Pentagon, Ronan Bergman, who I think is still based in Israel, Maggie Haberman, and Jonathan Swan, who cover the White House. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 byline story that says this. A preliminary classified U.S. report says the American bombing of Iran's nuclear sites sealed off the entrances to 2 of the facilities, but did not collapse their underground buildings. The early findings conclude that the strikes over the weekend set back Iran.
And they make a lot of their bombs underground. They make a lot of their bombs underground. That's for sure.
Iran's nuclear program by only a few months. Before the attack, U.S. intelligence agencies had said that if Iran tried to rush the making of a bomb, it would take about 3 months. After the U.S. bombing run and days of attacks by the Israeli Air Force, the report by the Defense Intelligence Agency estimated that the program was delayed less than 6 months. What can you tell us about what this means in terms of, again, a military operation that was, in terms of hitting its target, successful, but a foreign policy which admittedly hasn't been super clearly?
It was successful. It was a successful attack. That's one thing we can agree on, y'all. Like, our military and army it really is the number one in the world, bro. No lie. But it's just like, what's next? That's all I be sitting there thinking, like, what's next, man?
Communicated to the American people, but if the message that Donald Trump delivered Saturday night was that we obliterated Iran's nuclear program, it's clear that this reporting seems to call that into question.
Absolutely, Nicole. I mean, it's a very devastating report. Assuming it's accurate, it's an initial assessment. We should caveat it, and U.S. intelligence officials are still trying to collect information. But the first assessment here runs very much against the president's initial report and assessment to the American people, which, you know, was always sort of an improbably quick conclusion for the president to draw. You know, it takes time.
I think the reason why Trump was actually, you know, like mad like that on the TV and everything, I think it was honestly because like somebody at AOC or something like that, I seen that he was like getting into it with them. They said that they was actually calling for his impeachment because he basically, took us to war when he didn't have to. So, and I think that's what they was looking for, and that's what they was waiting on to actually try to impeach him. But as I said though, y'all, I'm not into politics. I don't want to be into it. I just wanted to go ahead and check into it because it is trending. I want to know what's really going on. But make sure to go ahead and comment, like, and subscribe, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I hope we make it through all this, everybody. This is Career Baby ENT News. I'ma holler at y'all till next time, man.